Whether you're a dungeon master wanting to tell a great story in a short amount of time, or a player looking for a short-term test run at DMing, here are 9 tips on how to create a great D&D campaign without having to commit to years of gameplay. Think of themes and story arcs beforehand. This will help you plan out the entire campaign in advance and make sure that all your adventurers fit together within the set parameters. This may mean asking your players to build their backstories with you. You don't have to improvise everything that happens, and it's 100% okay to create stories with your players. Think about the differences between Critical Role and Dimension 20. Critical Role is more of your classic game style. Nobody knows when the game will end. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But in Dimension 20, everyone at the table knows that they have X amount of episodes to tell the entire story, and they trust their DM to make it happen, and they love it. 2, you want to have a direction. By this I mean that you as a DM should know how and when your game will end. Your players will surely pull you off the rails, but you can create boundaries and incidents to keep them on track. By knowing where the party is headed in the long run, you can introduce all those side quests, characters, and adventures that you've created in your head and know that it will be fine in the end. 3, use boundaries and time constraints. Now this one is twofold. You can use time constraints both in and out of game. Out of the game, they should know that the story will last about 6 months or so, which ultimately just means that you as a DM need to know how many sessions the story will take. But in the game, using ticking time bombs, such as flooding rooms, quicksand, or even literal bombs, can make your players think quickly and push the story forward fast. Imagine exploring a town that is now on fire. There's only so much that they can do before they have to leave. In Curse of Strahd, for example, the mist that surrounds the world keeps the players from venturing elsewhere. Constraints like these will help push the story forward and keep things timely. Encourage player agency. Let your players have their own moments to shine, but they also need to know that in order to tell the story, they must push forward. Don't let them get stuck in a loop of doing the same thing over and over and over again, or forgetting about their mission. Give your players rewards for moving on with the story. A great way to do this is to give them some sort of item or artifact as a puzzle or weapon, but that's also directly tied to the story. It will keep them engaged and curious while the enemies close in around them. 5, use downtime as a storytelling device. You can accomplish a lot simply by saying, here we will skip 6 months ahead, and then asking them to tell you what their characters are doing in those 6 months. They can train, upgrade, adventure, and you can go through all of it with them at their own pace outside of the game. Is it extra work? Sure. But it gets things done faster between sessions. Likewise, you want to make sure you're doing this when it makes sense. If they completed a tough mission, it makes sense that they would want some time off. But if they just met and you want to skip ahead 3 months, it feels rushed and out of place. Use it wisely and sparingly. Combat does not need to last hours. If the purpose of the story is served, let the enemies run. You don't have to drag out combats just because they are there. If you can make a combat total no more than 20 minutes, then do it. It will save your players time and allow them to move on with their stories faster. Besides, how many times have you seen people fight to the actual death in real life? Most living beings want to preserve themselves, which means if it looks like they're going to lose, they run. 7, you can use more puzzles and challenges for encounters. Not all encounters need to be combat-based. There are plenty of ways to challenge your players without resorting to combat. One great way is to have them solve puzzles or find clues in order to progress the story. Have your players explore a sunken ruin, looking for pieces scattered throughout the area that will help them unearth that powerful artifact. This can help keep your players engaged and help the story move forward without dragging out the session with long battles. 8, lower levels might suit you better, as high levels tend to make encounters longer, much longer. If you're looking for a quicker campaign, try using lower level characters so that the encounters don't last too long. Going from level 1 to 5 characters is a good choice since they don't have too many spells and abilities which can make combat drag on, but also aren't so low that they can't handle the challenge. And finally, create a great villain. This one's incredibly important. A compelling villain will be what drives your players to progress the story faster. It can inject tension and fear, and ultimately a great boss fight at the end of the campaign is what will make the entire campaign worth it and memorable. These kinds of moments are only possible if you have a great bad guy behind it. So don't forget to make your villain interesting. Give them complicated motivations that keep the players guessing and engaged. That way everyone will be looking forward to when they finally get their hands on the big baddie, and delivering that final blow that ends it all will be all the more satisfying. There's a lot of ways to help move a campaign along without having it last years. These are just 9 tips that I think would help. Leave your own tips in the comments below. I really hope this helped. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Feed your displacer beasts, and we'll see you next time, adventurers!